you spend a long time just mulling over, not too intellectual, but just thinking about the other person and feeling the energy that they create and how they make you feel, and their sort of emotions. And that's, to me, the most important thing to get onto the canvas, so that other people can tap into that and feel it and listen to it like a piece of music. I spent a lot of time in bed because I was having 9 months of chemotherapy, and so I spent a lot of thinking time because I wasn't very agile. And so my cousins, my lovely friends, had this lovely stone cottage out the back, and they said, "You're very welcome to bring your easel over and just let yourself in during the day and start painting." So that's what I did, because I needed a largish space. And I'd sort of go over at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd finish at about 6 or 7, or sometimes a bit later, and I'd look at my watch and I'd think, gee, I haven't felt sick the whole time I was painting. Art's very important to me as a viewer, because I love music, and I think that it's very, for me, it's all about the emotions. It's not such an intellectual process. So although you use your intellect to get the composition right and that sort of thing, it's all for the purpose of what you're feeling about your subject and how you want your subject to feel to the viewer. What I liked about him, not only did I find his face intriguing, but I love the way he tells stories and keeps you entertained, and he'll take you down a thread of history into someone's life, and he finds that very interesting, and I love human history as well. Although you want people to be able to recognise the person in the portrait, you also want them to be able to feel something about the person that isn't necessarily in a photograph of them or an expression. So you have to kind of create that on top of the likeness that's already there. And I think as a painter that's a real challenge, because you can do a perfectly photographic representation, but it really sparks to me. It's got to have something where the viewer can look at it and say, I feel this or I feel that about the person, even if they've never met them before. You know, I've had a few students and they love art classes, and I think it's because of that factor of feeling whole when you do it. You know, you might have all sorts of problems at home, but you come to your art class and you just leave all those worries behind you, and you just focus on your artwork. And you might have really difficult problems, or, you know, seemingly trivial problems, but it's always helpful. And you go home and you feel refreshed. Your brain's been in a kind of a meditative state, like it was for me when I was painting Jimmy Jack. You know, you didn't think about anything else. You can't allow other intrusive thoughts because it takes so much of your attention. And I think that's what's so good about art generally, for everybody. What I loved about Artrinsic in their youth program, they were bringing in the sick children to do portraits, and I just feel that's so important, because having been a sick person myself and knowing that wonderful feeling of, as you're painting, that there are no negative thoughts coming into your work, you just feel completely relaxed. You're sort of in the zone, I suppose. And I think that's something that people learn when you're very young, whether it's music or art, but you can have that for your whole life. It's not just something that you do when you're a child and then you stop. You know, that validation of expression is so important as an adult, and it's a relaxation away from your busy, we all have very busy lives, but plus the benefits on your health, because they've proven that the brain has these lovely alpha waves and it goes right through your whole brain. So you're out of that sort of beta, stressful brain pattern where most of us are most of the time when we're answering the phone and trying to get things done. We're usually in a very agitated mental state. So to release ourselves from that agitation is really wonderful. It was 2 years ago when I first entered, and that was just completely mind-blowing for me as an artist, because I'd never entered such a big competition before. And to do a portrait, a live sitting, was very different for me, you know. So, and then to actually be involved in the process with very, very well-known artists, and to actually win the People's Choice Prize was just wonderful, and it completely opened up my world of art, I have to say. So I benefited just from the process of doing it myself. Even if I hadn't won a prize, it wouldn't have mattered, because the actual process of knuckling down and doing it, it's such a marvellous opportunity to show your work as a new artist and to see the effect of your work on the general public. I think it's very interesting. I think it's fantastic, and from what I've seen every year, it's growing in stature, and more people, more artists are hearing about it. And I think because it's on our local doorstep, we should all be involved. I'm biased, of course.